He commands the room. He stands up for what is right respectfully, and I appreciate that. And Saint Deal. We were in class together. She's always, so gracious and beautiful. I don't know why she don't have her beautiful self on the screen, but that's for a discussion for another day. But next coming up to bless our mic is Maestro. Maestro, tell us about yourself, what you have going on in the community, any upcoming events, and then bless our mic.
Hey, peace and blessings. It's your boy, Maestro Sean. And if everybody who's ever watching your favorite cousin, I say that in all of my videos now. I've had the opportunity to share the stage with the majority of the people on this panel. So it's a blessing to see Boogie, Michael, Brandon, and all the poets that I don't know. Also, Andrea. It's beautiful to share the stage with you. I've also shared the stage with Caleb, the poet, Emerald Green, Malik Youssef, who is a Grammy Award winning poet and writer, V.I.V.E, who won the first spoken word Grammy. So that's just a phenomenal thing. So I got to give a shout out to Elena Love. I got to give a shout out to all the Chicago poets too, because I mean, LA gets all the love out here, but I got to remember my roots. I'm originally from Chicago, went to the University of Illinois, studied communication there. And I've had a lot of beautiful things along my journey. I was a spoken word spotlight for WGCI. I featured at Speak Cafe at the University of Illinois. Featured at Up for Here with Michael Maitre. Cultural Cool with Elena Love. The Post Poetry Festival, which was the first one this year, which was a beautiful thing. And what's funny is I didn't even do poetry. I got to sing. So that's always a blessing. And I just most recently, and Andrea was there to support me along with some other beautiful faces. The Sounds of Sanity Festival just happened this past weekend. I'm currently working on a couple projects. One is going to be a mixtape, and I think it's going to be entitled Mosaic. It's going to have R&B, soul, a lot of tributes to the 90s. And then I'm also working on a project that's going to be a full album. So look out for that. At least one of those is dropping this year, and then the other one will drop in next year. But besides being a poet and a singer, I also have something that's near and dear to my heart. It's called Here for Love. And Here for Love is a social campaign to help people who experience homelessness. So we have done campaigns in Chicago. We've done it in the IE. We've done it in Long Beach. We've done it in LA. We've done it in Atlanta, and we're looking to expand and do it in other cities too. Because if we are all we are all human, and we all get to be treated as such. So our goal is to make them feel as human as possible, make sure they're fed, make sure they're clothed, and make sure they feel human. But with that said, I would love to do my very first poem. It's from my first EP called Along This Journey. And this poem is called Broken Silences. And I hope you enjoy it. Sorry. As internal silence becomes the rage that has engulfed me, I cry tears of untold stories, unable to express stifled emotions, becoming the lost voice of previous generations. I carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, shifting its abundance to bear the pain, and I never have expected you to understand. Broken pieces of shattered dreams becomes the reality of my existence. Validating my presence is just another burden. My heart has become incarcerated, unable to love another because I'm still trying to figure out what love is. On the brink of another night of confusion, searching, and solitude, I bear witness to the angst of not being accepted, by selflessness being mistaken for selfishness because my good has been evil spoken of. And in the search for redemption, I prove myself 1,000 times only to be called a contradiction. Who am I? A question that haunts me, but renders no answers. However, my search continues, tired of shedding tears of oppression because I matter. Years of misunderstanding becomes the foundation for conflict as ignorance becomes a new source for evil. Perhaps if you walked a mile or two in my shoes, you'd understand that my story is composed of more than just a fairy tale. As the rising actions lead to the climax, there are many tears cried and much blood lost, but the conclusion never really resolves anything. So it's just all in vain. Is this all in vain? It's just all in vain because I've lived in silence for too long and I must have a voice. And that's Broken Silences.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that piece. It was beautiful. My friend that came to support you with me was in the chat. She was commenting on your piece.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pass the mic back to you, AJ.
Okay, okay. The next on the mic is a sister who said, "Yo, I got the hat. I'm just gonna rock the hat. The profile is better, and we just gonna rock the profile picture and let that." Oh, there she goes. There she goes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. This will be my first time. I've been hearing so much about you and looking forward to hearing you live. This is Saint Deal, like Nina Simone.
Definitely. Hey y'all, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm actually super excited to be here because I've been seeing Andrea post these every other week, every day. And I'm like, definitely got to get on that. So, first and foremost, thank you, Andrea, for inviting me. Thank you for always being a beautiful spirit every time. Went to class, go to CLI or anything poetry related, and Andrea is there and she cooked good, so that's my love language. So we already cool on that note too. But Andrea is really the truth, and I love what you're doing with bringing artists together. That leads me into my little spiel about what I do, because I definitely am in that mode as well of getting artists together. So I'll guess I'll start with my recent things. So as you can see in the bio, I did found a entertainment company, Pure Heart Entertainment. It's based on Matthew's 5:8. Blessed are the pure at heart, for they shall see God. um, because no matter what you're doing in life, as long as you're maintaining a pure heart, which means authenticity and truth, and spreading God's love, whatever you're going to do is going to prosper because you're spreading love and you're spreading good things and positivity. So that's really what it's all about, trying to reach the masses. I just started a monthly poetry feature and artist exhibition called Mics and Muses that I host in West Adams at Johnny's Pastrami's. There's a bar next door, and it definitely went off with a hitch. We sold out the first event, so that was really, really beautiful. I had a few, thank y'all. That's so sweet. I'm gonna drop all my Instagram accounts in the chat after this little spiel, but I had a few World Stage Press poets, some Mama Kitchen Press poets, if you know Fly High Two Wise. That's her Instagram handle. She featured, and then I also had one of my homegirls that I met. She works for the Shade Room, but if anybody is here is a part of the D9 Black Greek organizations, I'm a Delta. So in terms of music, it's poetry and music. So she came. She has a Pretty Girl Freestyle. She's an AKA. But I love her, and she came and rocked the mic. So I'm trying to. We're definitely doing another event, which brings me to my next point. The next event will kind of be on July 19th, which is my. Let me turn this little backdrop thing off so I can just show you real quick. Okay, there we go. Hey y'all, what's up? So this is, let me turn it upside. There we go. This is my debut poetry collection, Sensations Volume 1, that will be releasing through World Stage Press in, what's today? In 13 days. So on July 19th, yes. Thank you. Uh yeah, just I'll drop everything's on Instagram. It's sad, but yeah, it is. So all the links are there to purchase. I think the in-person tickets are $10, virtual six, and then the book is $20. But there's a lot of amazing things there. That's like kind of like my current thing outside of bringing artists together, pushing this book. I also am publishing Sensations Volume 2. This is basically kind of like pieces of it, but that's coming out probably like in September through Bookleaf Publishing. So that's also in the works. Volume 2 is definitely much more spicier than Volume 1. Volume 1 is very cathartic, and it's a testimony, it's a journey. I started writing Volume 1 when I was 16 years old. I'm born and raised from South Central LA, grew up in Slauson and 53rd, 50s, if you know LA. And then so my first career, though, I am a filmmaker. I have a bachelor's in film from Berkeley and a master's in fine arts and film from Columbia. So my natural trade is visual arts. I also am earning a master's in education. I teach eighth grade English at a charter school in Hyde Park. So I'm trying to bridge all three: education, film, and poetry together. I used to teach at Dorsey High School. I did a open mic poetry slam there, and all my students produced their own poetry books, which there's going to be a special edition of Volume 1 that has my students' poems in it. So that's going to be available at Dorsey High School Library. Um, and if you're available this Saturday, speaking of poetry and education, I am hosting a workshop that I facilitated and designed the curriculum for. It's part two, it's the intermediate. We did the beginning workshop on June 10th, but it's with the Los Angeles Public Library. And I'm doing a workshop channeling poetry through film. So it's basically showcasing my graduate study research plus my just vision with helping people create visual mediums for their literature. Um, and so, yeah, I definitely want to get into some poems. I probably do a whole bunch of other stuff, but I think I said a lot of stuff. If you want to work out, I'm a fitness trainer slash yoga instructor. That's like on the side note. I also do hair. It's hot if you need some braids, if you need anything, just hit me up. But yeah, that's like side stuff. Um, and probably some other stuff, but I think we're gonna get into this poem. I was trying to figure out which poem I was gonna do, but I think I wanna, I'm listening to Spirit, and Spirit's telling me to do this little number from the book. So this is called How I Became the Other Woman. For years, I loved, cherished, and nurtured your ego. I never left it idle. I cradled your fears in my bosom until there was no more pain left to feel. I wonder who made your sun shine in the moments you wanted to storm most? Who made your flowers bloom in darkness and tended to your darkest more than her own? I wonder. Small returns on large dividends. I kept a holdout then. I knew my currency was worth more than this exchange rate, but I kept on dealing. It was love. Hell, it was pain too. I kept on loving because to me the potential was so much greater than the loss. I saw a bigger picture through negatives and exposures. We just couldn't capture the beauty of it. Now I'm the other woman, and that's okay because I was never really yours in the first place. I just served my purpose. You're welcome. Yeah, so thanks. This collection is a plethora of feelings, is pain, patience, and power. So it's exploring, um, healing journey. I am a childhood sexual survivor, violence. I'm probably mixing that up, but I ain't gonna lie. I had a little sip to knock off the nerves. But this collection is really like my testimony of my healing journey from age 16 till mid 20 something, and it's really encompassing a lot of different themes and the experiences of the human journey. So hopefully you check it out July 19th. And thank y'all for being here. Y'all are so amazing.
Thank you. Also, I'll be cooking at her event, so don't forget to tell them
Yes.
that. We still have to
Yes.
discuss the menu.
Yes, we do. But oh, first and foremost, let me just insert Andrea just dropped her book. It's in my library, but I will have it right here on the desk. It's in the library. I've been reading a couple of poems, and I'm just like, Drea, there we go. There we go. She just dropped it. The event was amazing. If you didn't make it, you definitely missed out on the best book release I've ever been to. First and foremost, don't know how I'm gonna top that. But you got to get her a book. Like every day, I kid you not, I read like two, three, four poems, and I'd be like, Andrea is really the truth. Like, I feel like I'm getting to know her more and more as a woman, as an artist, as a poet by reading her book. And I appreciate you sharing that with the world. So if
Thank
you
you so much.
haven't got connections between us, please go and purchase it ASAP.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm gonna have another event because some people bought tickets and was not able to make it. One person being Brandon. So I want to make sure everybody get, the book and get the experience. It probably won't be as fancy, but I'm gonna make sure it happens. Coming up next to bless our mic again, we're gonna roll it back around. You ready?
I'm ready.
You got something else for us?
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay,
Um,
bless our mic.
this this piece actually I read at the conference, at the writers conference that just happened 2 weeks ago, and this piece also was the last piece I wrote out right before the class ended. So this is an affirmation to all poets, but most importantly myself, and it's called "They Ask Me If I'm a Poet." They ask me if I am a poet, like I'm supposed to be this way, talk this way, speak this way, be this way. I live by my own code, unturning every stone, listening to my ambitions run me wild. As I replay time in my own mind, maybe I made a wrong turn. Google Maps gave me the conclusion. Way back then, I knew English class was my first language. I never felt stupid in reading class. As each grade passed, I found myself engulfed in stories, parables, movies, always wanting to know the introduction and short story, envisioning me as the main character. It was easier to be them than my own character. You see, literature and I had a love affair back then, placing my insecurities on fake romances, reading, watching, believing in every word I read, from the Bible to my studies up until each job that made me listen to what the manager said. I made up in my mind a long time ago that I would never grow old, live under society's pressures, breaking, taking my joy for their own pleasure. Life, heartbreak, setbacks will do that to you. But boy, I'm happy I got back to you. I miss you, my friend. It all started with a paper and a pen. I never knew back then what I know now, the gift of gab. It is a work of art like me when I'm carefree. I'm finally getting back to the real me. No fake validations or checking the scale. This is me. I was meant for this. They asked me if I'm a poet, like I'm supposed to be this, talk, be this way, talk this way, speak this way. I'll always be this way. My words are like brimstone and fire. Flame emotions speak through my soul, convicted with the feeling of being alone. That's how I know I am a poet.
Yes, I am a poet.